Originally from DC. I've been in New York about 10 years. Always wanted to live here. Grew up watching Spike Lee movies like She's Gotta Have It, More Better Blues. I wanted to be an artist in Brooklyn. Well, it's so weird because I was a freelancer for about 10 years. Okay. So I wrote for Vibe, I wrote for Source, I wrote for ESPN, I wrote for People, a lot of different places. But I was on the book publishing side because I just wanted something editor in my title. So I was doing romance novels for a while, and Essence is actually like my first boom on the masthead position. Nice. And so I came in as a relationship editor. Always growing up, I mean, even from high school, I was always like the go-to girl. Somebody had a problem with relationships, it was like D, lunch table, D, like I'm trying to eat. But it was always, asking me about, their situation. And I had good advice. My parents have, at this point, have been married for like 34 years. So I've seen, the ins and outs of relationships, and all their friends are married, and, so you see the behind the scenes. So I had a very good insight from them. And then when I came to New York, I was always very passionate about writing about relationships and just thinking about relationships. So I was like, you know what? I have all these thoughts. I want to get them out. I'm just going to put them in a blog. So I started blogging on MySpace, and then from a year from there, I went to honeymac.com, and then Essence came calling. So I moved my own site to abellinbrooklyn.com. I bill it as the hilarious misadventures of a Southern woman living too far above the Mason-Dixon. So that's everything from the crazy stuff that happens on the job, to with guys, to with friends and social. It's my life laid out there. Oh, my audience is really wide, and it really shocks me. I think most of the people that comment on the blog are usually in their early 20s. But I mean, I get probably like 30, 40 emails a day. From women everywhere, everywhere in the spectrum, from say their 50s and they're married with kids, to I'm Korean and your blog resonates, it's not just for black girls, I want you to talk about some other people too. I'm just like, oh, okay. And then there's a huge international following. There's a big following in South Africa, there's a big following in Ghana, Paris, Japan, a lot of Caribbean leaders as well. I recently landed a book deal. It's on Atria Books, which division is Simon & Schuster. And it's based on my blog. The title of the book will be A Belle in Brooklyn, and I jokingly like to refer to it as an uncensored version of my blog. I tell a lot of stories about my life on the blog. I don't put everything out there. The blog says 20%. The book will probably be more like 70. So there are some stories about some guys that I've dated that I haven't given a full version of. And then they'll get a lot of backstory on sort of how I became this quote-unquote dating guru, as the Washington Post likes to say, I was on a dating panel last night, and they've got all the panelists at the top in VIP or whatever, and somehow these guys have snuck through, and I ended up talking to a 33-year-old, two 37-year-olds, and a 39-year-old, tall, chocolate, employed, and all work out, no kids, college degree, and they're like, D, hook me up. Yeah. They're like, oh, what do you do, blah, 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 oh, I did this cutie run, and da-da-da-da, and they were like, so where good women are? Yes. So can you find me one? And I'm like, okay, so y'all are out here looking too? I feel like there's just people, they listen to the statistics and they listen to all this negative information about it's so hard, it's so difficult, and they start to, be afraid to step out and even try. But I'm like, every time I go out, I meet great dudes. Are they necessarily dudes I want to date? Not for me per se, but they're good dudes. And they would make some woman very happy. So I don't think it's as difficult sometimes as
not being extroverted.
Yeah, being extroverted counts for a lot. I mean, the advice that I give to women, the smile and say hi, you see a guy you like, pay him a compliment, that's my version of a cutie run. It's really nothing different than you would do at a networking event. You just sort of make yourself known and you introduce yourself to people you think you might want to meet. I'm very much about giving back, and I'm very much about women taking control of their lives and sort of not sitting back and being passive and waiting for some man to come after them. And I'm also about being optimistic. Hi, this is Demetria and you're watching LatinTheBlog.com.